Let's get this party started, everybody! Welcome, welcome. What's up, everybody? Behind the Devil's Curtain, episode 4. And, it's called Dream Warriors. This is one of my favorite things I own. This is a Metal Freddy glove. Yes. We will be chatting about the world of dreams. And if you've seen the film Dream Warriors, you'll know that in the dream, a group of teenagers decide to take on Freddy Krueger by entering the dream world and battling the dream demon himself, Freddy. I love this thing. It's amazing. They used to sell these for not a lot of money. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. I'm going to take this glove. This is hard to take off. For those of you that think this is about Freddy Krueger tonight, it's actually not. If you watch this show tonight, you will learn some amazing things about sleeping, how to fall asleep better, and how to have some fun in Dreamland. Let's get started. We got a group of people here tonight. Let me know how it's sounding. I am rocking a new microphone thanks to my donors. Speaking of that, where is my donor list? We're going to go over that. How's everybody? This is Behind the Devil's Curtain. This is one of my favorite projects I've been working on. I cannot wait to jump into this one because I have spent all week getting ready for this. Actually, I spent 2 weeks. Let me go over here and get something. I've been doing a lot of research that I've been wanting to do for a very long time on my own. And I got to do it, and I get to share it with everybody here tonight. So, the basics are this. First of all, if you're new to this channel, and we got already a great group in here, welcome and thank you so much. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. I know you guys are sick of hearing me say it. I'm trying to get to 1,000, and it looks like I'm almost at 600. Kind of crazy. It means I went up 400 in a few months. So, thank you. Also, the donations, anybody that donates to this show, it goes right back in. I just got a new mic, another new mic. I went through a couple. I wanted to make it better. I've got new lights. I've got a new computer. I've got monitors, and I'm getting a new monitor so that I can start doing video chats. So all the donations, great. And if you look here, someone donated. People donate when they're offline, too, which is great. So thank you. I got a new person on my list. Michael DeHill, thank you. You are on the list. Welcome to everybody that's in here tonight. We got William and Aaron and Silly and who else is in here? Keith and Rick and Luke, Eric, Mark, Jay, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for coming in. I love doing these live versions. I don't like doing the pre-records. It's way more interesting for me, and I'm definitely better at the live chat. Next Friday, same place here. The show is not Behind the Devil's Curtain. It's Magic Method Level 2. And if you're interested in that, I highly recommend watching Magic Method Level 1 because it is going to be taken down and only for my subscriber people. They're not really my subscribers. They're just the list. My list are the special people that are the first ones to actually help me get this channel rolling. And it's $25. You donate that, you're on my list. It means a lot. I'm starting this whole thing from scratch. So, next week, Magic Method Level 2. What else? Oh, I almost forgot. So today, I woke up at 7 a.m. because at 8 a.m. my Kickstarter was about to begin, and I actually had to hit the Go Live Now button. I'm going to be honest, I was extremely nervous. I wasn't sure. I knew it was going to do okay. I didn't know how well or how quick. I woke up. I called my partner, who's the artist who I'm working with. He's in Hong Kong having Thanksgiving, right? It's 7 in the morning here with his family. And I hit it, and within seconds, it went. And in so I hit it in, 30 minutes. It was already over $1,000. So then I put on my wetsuit. I went into the ocean. Surfed, got out, and as soon as I got home, it was funded in 2 hours. So thank you, everybody. There's a link. It's the first comment. I put a link to my Kickstarter. and I'll post a link later. It's for a pack of satanic playing cards, folks. Literally, the Devil's Picture book has come to life, and I thank everybody who donated. Thank you. It really, I got choked up. We're almost at, I think, $6,000, and it's not even been half of the day. It's only been about a half day. So we could hit 7,000 or 8,000 by the end of the day. I'm flattered, blown away, can't believe it. So it's been a lot of work, but it is worth it. Thank you. So tonight, let's get into this. I don't want to waste time. Why am I doing a show on dreaming and sleeping? Well, first of all, we sleep on average about 26 years of our life. That's a lot. That's a long time in bed sleeping. And we don't talk about sleep a lot. It's not a thing that people discuss at parties. People are like, oh, how's your sleep been? They ask about exercise and doing jumping jacks and how many push-ups can you do. But people don't go, do you have 3 REM cycles or 6 when you go to bed? No one talks about it. The fact is, there is a lot of science now on this. A lot. And I'm shocked that we don't go into this more. I'm shocked people aren't... I meet a lot of people that have trouble falling asleep. I have family members. My mother has a hard time falling asleep. A lot of people do. And as a kid, I did too. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But yeah, that's why I'm doing this. I find it to be one of the most fascinating subjects that definitely fits the theme of this show, which is where it's sleight of hand, forbidden knowledge, and the art of real magic. And that's what dreaming and sleep is. It's science, yet there's crazy things that we can do. And if you have good sleeping cycles and a healthy sleep, it makes you a better person during the day. It really does. And we're going to talk all about that tonight. So if you're watching and you want to learn how to go to bed way quicker, I got a system. My system that I use myself. Anybody that knows me knows I get into a certain position and I'm out. Ow, my hand hurt. That just hurt. So let's start. How did I get interested in sleep? Well, I almost forgot. Anybody watching tonight, dude, ask questions. Throw them out there. And when I get into details like sleep paralysis, I want to hear about it, okay? Don't do it yet. Let's wait till we get to that. Because a lot of you have experiences with some of the things I'm going to talk about, and I want the chat to be active too. Wow, we got a great group already. This is fantastic. I'm excited. So when I was a little kid, you already know this. I was obsessed with magic tricks and the occult. I liked weird stuff. I liked witchcraft and voodoo and ghost stories, UFOs, and sleight of hand. And of course, in the Johnson Smith catalogs, there was always the hypnotic thing to hypnotize people, the little wheel. There was also the book you could order on hypnosis, which, here, I'll put it at the hand cam. I have one right here. It's right here. There it is. Entertaining with Hypnosis. You can get this book for about $3. Yeah, it's pretty good. And this got me interested in the idea of what it means to sleep and what is hypnosis exactly, and how you can really fall asleep by just like snapping your fingers. And I would see this, and it actually fascinated me. So I ordered the booklet, and whatever, I didn't learn much. When I was a little kid, I always had a hard time sleeping because I didn't want to miss anything. I was busy reading comic books and, I would paint miniatures or read rule books to Dungeons and Dragons. I couldn't get to bed. I also probably was downing terrible amounts of caffeine at an early age, which we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about drugs and how they affect your sleep cycle. Let me know if the sound's good tonight. I'm curious. It should sound definitely better. I might have to EQ this up a bit. Davidson, what's up, brother? Jason says, repetitive suggestion like hypnosis helps me if I'm having trouble sleeping. Well, check it out. I got a little older. I had my hypnosis book. I finally got a tape on self-hypnosis. Now, a lot of people don't know what self-hypnosis is. It's very different than seeing a hypnosis show. Self-hypnosis is either A, you put on a tape and somebody talks you into hypnotizing yourself, or they're doing it via the tape, Or you just do it yourself. You lay down and do it. And I learned how to do it at an early age. I would lay in bed and breathe. And the guy on the tape used imagery of a sun. And I'll give you a quick demonstration. This is my version of self-hypnosis that I use for myself. And I might also use it if I'm going to try to do it to somebody else and get them to relax and go into some sort of hypnotic state. And mind you, I'm not doing a show. This is not a show on hypnosis. This is just self-hypnosis. I will do a show on the real version of hypnosis. That's coming. I cannot wait to do that. That one I'm going to have guests because I am not a professional hypnotist. I'm going to have one of those on here. So here's my technique. First of all, my breathing technique is breathe in on 10. Hold for 5 seconds. And then out on 20. Okay? If you watch my ventriloquist and necromancy episode 3, episode 3, I talk about my breathing exercise. The thing that I do when I hold for 5 is the one you got to go watch the video on. I have a trick where I don't stop it here and I keep my diaphragm pushed out to hold the air in. And I do this and it's making me breathe. I'm focusing on my breath. It's very meditative. Once I'm relaxed, I then imagine the sun above me in my most beautiful imaginative place, which is like a forest with a trickling stream and the smell of pine. It reminds me of my childhood because I didn't grow up on a beach. I'm on the beach now. And I do think the beach is beautiful, and a lot of people might use a beach analogy. But I like the forest, and I imagine the sunlight coming through the trees and hitting my feet. And both feet, I imagine getting warm and melting. And I really focus on that as I'm breathing. Each breath, I'm more relaxed. And I make that sunlight, imagine it hitting my calves, my knees, and I work my way up all the way until I'm out. And that is my personal, your face muscles, your scalp. You really have to go through each part of your body without moving. And it gives you something to think about. It's a process. And it's getting you into the next subject, which is your alpha state. And we're going to talk about that in super detail here in a second. Here's someone talking about... Okay. William just brought something up, which is really interesting, because I am definitely talking about this tonight. It says, William just said, I just told my friend about the stream, and she's scared to take melatonin or sleeping pills because of issues with sleep paralysis in the past. Yes, she might be right on that, actually, which I'm going to talk about. Now, I am not a clinical sleep doctor or anything. This is stuff I've learned. I've looked up the science, and it sounds pretty like it's rock solid, all the things I'm going to be talking about tonight. I'm also going to be talking about the occult side of these things, too, which is what this show is. And a lot of this stuff, I won't even need to tell you why it's associated with the occult. It just, you'll see. So let's talk about alpha state. It's between 8 and 12 hertz, whatever that's the wavelength. And I have notes here now on alpha state. So alpha state is what your brain does right before you get into your first phase of sleeping. There's the different phases of sleeping ending with REM. Your rapid eye movement part. And we're going to talk about what that is because that's really neat stuff. But so alpha how do you get to alpha? So all of you that have trouble sleeping, the first thing you got to do is get into this alpha state. And I'm going to listen to this. This blows my mind. Just daydreaming sets you in alpha state. If you just sit around and just kind of do nothing and kind of let your thoughts wander, that could be an alpha state. Meditating, clearly. The self-hypnosis with the breathing, that's meditating. People that pray, if you're a Catholic and do the rosary or the Buddhist beads, that kind of does it too. It's a repetitive thing that you're just kind of doing. It makes your brain get into this relaxed, lucid state where certain things happen. Writing, drawing, For me, it's miniature painting. You're not really thinking about much except the dude's boot. I'm like, I'm going to paint his boot now, right? It makes you relaxed, but you're still alert, right? Because you have to focus, but you're relaxed. Here's one I want to know. I tried to find more info on it, and I couldn't. I learned this from, it's like an old Boy Scout trick. If you're having trouble fall asleep, lay down and raise your feet. Now, raising your feet when you sleep gets the blood circulating better, but your brain gets blood starts to flow to your brain when you're getting sleepy. And I've always noticed little kids, when they start to get irritable, people are like, oh, they're sleepy. And if you feel their heads, they're like burning hot sometimes. It's like the blood flow gets strong. So I think personally, when you raise your feet, it's increasing the blood flow to your brain, which triggers alpha state sleepy. I could be wrong of what it's triggering, and that's why I'm putting that little caveat emptor there, buyer beware on that one. But I do it. I'll raise my feet a bit, and it helps. It helps me get to alpha state. Television does not. It does not. Listening to TV in the background does not. Okay? The other thing is this. So if you can do an activity that gets you in alpha state, whether it be drawing, meditating, raising, or just relaxing in general, the next thing you do is you need to increase your own natural melatonin. And one of the things that does it is darkness and the temperature of the room together. The science says they got to happen together. We literally evolved for this to happen. It's in our caveman DNA. To the temperature, the dark triggers a nice sleep. It produces the right amount of melatonin to help you fall asleep so that you can have a healthy sleep pattern. Yeah, TV. Oh, here's one that's amazing. How do you lower your temperature? Well, one of the tricks is to take an actual hot shower. Now, you think a hot shower is raising your temperature? It's actually raising the temperature on your skin, but drawing it away from your core. It's making it leave and focus elsewhere. And also, when you leave wet from the shower, it literally makes your core temperature kind of move out, which triggers the melatonin, which helps all go together for that first sleep phase. And here's another one. This one blows my mind. And I'm curious if anybody's ever... getting sound notes. Okay, cool. Good to note. Thank you, Jason. And I love this, and I hope someone knows something about this in chats. I learned a trick that if you get a headache, like you're like, oh, I got a headache, right? I get migraine headaches sometimes. I'm like, okay, that sucks. So what do? Well, one of the tricks is to focus on the pain and try to increase it. Like, narrow in on that, oh God, that sucks. And imagine it getting worse and worse and focusing on the pain. Guess what? It goes away really quick. I do it all the time. Occasionally it doesn't work, but it really does work. It has something to do with the attention of it all. It's acknowledging what's going on, and your brain goes, all right, I got it. Right? So they're saying, if you're having trouble falling asleep, you ready? Don't try to fall asleep. Try to stay awake. Be like, I'm going to stay awake all night and actually focus on it. I've never tried that, but I kind of get why it might work. It's putting emphasis on this one thing, which, it kind of reminds me of the headache thing. You're acknowledging what it is. You're like understanding it yourself. It's like this. Also, I think I've talked about this a lot on my news show. If you have any emotional problems, like an anger problem, or I get anxiety sometimes, I'll be like, right? As soon as you tell yourself, all right, I'm having some anxiety here, that you've just started the process of reversing it. But you got to acknowledge exactly what it is. Sometimes I'll get angry at something, and I'll literally feel the chemical go, like the adrenaline-y weird stuff. If you tell yourself, wow, I just got the anger adrenaline, you're not angry anymore. It's a great trick. Melatonin production is stopped by light. especially blue color. Yeah. You see? Look at the comments, folks. We got smart people in the house that know this stuff. Yeah, this is science. People that stay up all night or work all night, it starts to mess your melatonin, which starts to mess with your sleep cycle. Not good. So as a kid, I started learning some of these tricks to help myself fall asleep, and it really worked. And the other thing that I do, not only do I do the self-hypnosis bit, I do the same thing every night. I put a pillow between my knees, a pillow, like I do a certain like layout of how I'm going to lay down. And as soon as I get in that position, I'm sleepy because my brain knows that's one of the triggers. It's almost like, it's like hypnosis. Like when I do these things, it triggers the right chemicals to know it's time for bed. I've trained my brain to realize that by my body movements and how I position my pillows and whatnot, right? But you gotta practice. Now here's all of the things I'm talking about tonight. The part that people don't realize is you've all seen me do magic tricks. Some of the tricks I do took thousands of hours of practice. Well, what if I told you some of this stuff takes thousands of hours of practice? It does. Especially the next thing I'm going to get into, which is lucid dreaming. Very rarely do I meet people that are like, I practice all the time, like lucid dreaming. It's like invisible. It exists in here, and you don't see it, and it's hard to practice, but I'm going to teach you. You can. Then some of this stuff's not easy. Oh, another thing that triggers, I forgot this, alpha is aerobic activity. They used to think that if you did aerobics before bed, it probably isn't good. Now they know it might be really good. It helps you trigger that alpha. People that are healthy physically have better sleep patterns and better eating patterns. It's all tied together. I love it when I meet people that are like hardcore vegans and exercise, yet they don't sleep and they do lots of drugs. I mean, it doesn't add up. It literally doesn't work. One triggers the other. And some of the things, like the sleep one's the really bad one. People that have weird sleep cycles, it actually affects everything. Your emotions and all sorts of stuff. Ah, my mom's in the house. What's up, Mama? I love that my mom visits these. My mom has sleep problems. She'll chat right now and tell you. She has a hard time falling asleep. A lot of older people have trouble. They don't produce as much melatonin. So it's a little harder to sleep. So let's talk about astral projection. When I was a kid, I remember reading it in one of my occult books that you can literally leave your body and look down and see yourself. And there will be a cord attached. And your ghost will see your body, right? And then after some quick research, I realized it was lucid dreaming is the science term. And yes, it's real. Yes, it's been they know what it is. And yes, you can learn how to do it. And I'm going to teach you right now what I know about it and my personal experience with it. Now, when I was a kid, the first thing I learned how to do was, if you want to lucid dream, if you want to, and what is lucid dreaming? Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything here, because lucid dreaming is you dreaming and knowing it. You're like, hey, I'm dreaming and I can do whatever I want. That's lucid dreaming. It's you waking up as you do the thing that your brain does when you sleep. Now, let's talk about that before we get into lucid dreaming. When you go to bed at night and you dream, there are people that think that you're tapping into some spirit world and what. Well, the science, they know what's going on now. They've been testing this stuff for a long time now. And basically, imagine all day you're taking in all of this sensory input, right? You're meeting people in this and work all day. And when you go to bed at night, your computer has to organize it all. It does. And that's what you're doing. And the way it organizes, it's baffling. We put things together that you wouldn't imagine. So imagine being able to glimpse at that process. Just a little bit. There's a dream. And that's why it's sometimes baffling. Sometimes they look like they've predicted things sometimes because you're able to do the Sherlock Holmes trick. You're able to see things in which way they might end up, and in reverse too. Because you're literally inside your subconscious mind kind of tooling it, you might get some glimpses of things to come because you're able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And they know for a fact that when you dream, you're here. I wrote it down. Listen to this. It's literally REM part, the final part of the sleep phase. It's your memory processing. It's consolidation of info that you've acquired throughout the day. One of the things that happens is your amygdala is active, and the amygdala is where your fear is processed, which is partly why we have nightmares. And I'm going to look at these comments here. We got some good stuff here. Okay, here's somebody talking. We should look at these. Silly's talking about his lucid dreaming here. Jason's talking about Salvador Dali getting a lot of his creative suggestions. His surrealism. It's surrealism. That's what surrealism is. It's like when you look at your dream, that's surrealistic thought, but there's a reason for it. We remember things better. I have a memory trick that I'm going to teach on one of my shows where the more surreal of the mind picture you come up with, the better you'll remember it, which I think has something to do with how our dreams work. So REM sleep is where you're organizing and healing and all of the process to make you back to normal so that you can continue is in that process, right? So let's get into the lucid dream now. So how do you wake up in your dream and go, hey, I'm dreaming, right? When I was a kid, I was told from reading books, one of the suggestions was just tell yourself, hey, I want a lucid dream. So before I would go to bed, I would lay down, I would meditate, I would get calm, and I would say, hey, you should lucid dream tonight. It'll be fun. Now, I've had two types of lucid dreams. One is in the dream world, you wake up. You're like, I think I'm dreaming and I'm awake. Oh my God. And within a few minutes, it's over because you wake up. It's so exciting and you're like, wow, I woke up. The other thing that I've had happen is during alpha state, early, like just lay down, I've meditated, I've done my self-hypnosis, my eyes are closed, and I'm focusing on the darkness. And you know when you close your eyes, you can kind of see kaleidoscope stuff, if you focus on the black of nothing. Well, I've had on a few occasions where it goes, bah, and I literally can see as clear as I can see now. Not lying. Like, oh my God, I can see. It's not like a dream. It's real. I'm able to look into my thing that I just invented in my brain, and then it's over. And I've had it happen enough where it's almost like a drug. I wanted it again and again and again, and then I couldn't do it. And I tried and I tried and I tried, and I couldn't do it. And so that made me go into a deep hole because then I really wanted to learn about more and more and more. And I didn't practice right. I didn't have the info, and I stopped doing it. Well, in the last few months, I started again. I found some new tricks, and I'm going to teach you right now. I took about a year of practicing to get when I was younger on how to do it. Now, yes, if you want a lucid dream, yes, you tell yourself, I want a lucid dream. You should want it. You should talk about it. You should tell your friends about it because it's tricking your mind to do it while you're sleeping. The real trick, and this is what I've been doing, is you need to do what are called reality checks throughout the day. And you can, I've been doing about 10 a day. You can do more. And some people set, my buddy Rick Sherman was saying, his buddy, I think, set an alarm. So that the alarm would go off, he'd do his reality check. Here's a reality check. I'll do one now. Am I dreaming? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers, and I'm going to poke my hand. I'm not dreaming. That's it. You do that 10 times a day. You go, am I dreaming right now? No. 1, 2, 3, 5. Poke, 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 poke. Cool, right? Eventually, in dreamland, take a guess what happens. You're dreaming, you're doing your thing, you're out, you don't know you're dreaming, and at some point in your dream, you're going to go, all right, am I dreaming? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm poking through my hand. I think I'm dreaming. Oh my God. And then you'll usually wake up. If you practice, it gets better. Now, I've been doing it now for about a month. I had one experience, and it started and was over. But it did it. I was like, oh, it worked. And that was the end. People are really going off in here. I love it. Davidson said Napoleon also used his dreams to visualize victory. Well, you can do that. You can. So, here. All right. So there's two types. Okay. There's another way to induce lucid dreaming. There's two more ways. This is so cool. Actually, there's 3 ways. So one is a reality check. 2 is called WILD, W-I-L-D, wake-induced lucid dreaming. I haven't tried this yet. For those that are brave and really want to go for it, you ready? First, you got to find out about when you REM sleep. It's about 90 minutes into your actual deep sleep. So if you're going to go to bed at midnight, you want to set this for about 1:30 in the morning. You set an alarm, you wake up, you hang out for about 20 minutes, and then you go back to bed. It helps trigger lucid dreams somehow. I don't know why. The other one is called MILD, M-I-L-D, memory-induced lucid dreaming. And that one is when you lay down, you try to remember dreams that you've had that you liked. Maybe a reoccurring dream. And sometimes that triggers it so that when it happens, you go, oh, my favorite dream. And you wake up then too. So those are all different methods of it. And I really want people who try this stuff, tell me about it. Send me a message. I don't do this channel for, obviously I'm trying to develop this channel, but I do it because I'm interested. I want to know. I love this stuff. And so I'm going to continue my version of it, which is I'm going to be doing these reality checks as much as I can, and I'll do a follow-up on this. I've had it happen once in a month, so hopefully it picks up a little bit. It's not easy. A lot of people don't realize this, but when you go to bed at night, that sleep cycle with the REM happens multiple times. So you go to bed, you're in alpha state, then you go to, not gamma, you go to delta state, and then eventually you get to your REM, and then it repeats. And I learned this years ago, and again, here's a caveat emptor, buyer beware. I don't know the facts of this, but it makes sense. Everybody has a different time frame for sleep. Some people it's a 2, let's say some it's a 4, and some it's a 6. So what that would mean is if you're a 4, that means you can sleep 4 hours and wake up and feel pretty good, because in that you've completed a full REM cycle. If you sleep 8 hours, you wake up feeling good, and also 16. I'm sure you feel like crazy at that point. If you're a 2-hour cycle, you can sleep 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8. But if you sleep 1 or 5 and you wake up, you're in the middle of a cycle, and that's where you're groggy. So if you wake up in the middle of one of these, it's not good. You're like, right? Let's see here. Yeah, we're going to talk about caffeine because there's a lot of caffeine. I bought Dreamleaf. If you take 1 pill and set your alarm for 4 hours and take a note. I'm going to look this up. So they make a lucid dreaming pill. I'm curious of what it is and how it works. That's fascinating. Who wrote that? Silly. William, yeah. I love it. Somebody just said Eugene Berger wrote his books for himself and then hoped people would buy them. I mean, that's how I approach all my art projects. Anything I do is something I actually like, and I'm like, well, maybe other people will feel the same, including these kind of shows. We got a great crowd tonight. Thank you, everybody. This is fun. So here's what they did. Okay. Oh, this is where it gets interesting. So there you go. There's how many different... So tell yourself reality check, wild, and mild. Those are the main like lucid dreaming tricks. And now we've got this one here, dream leaf. Sounds like sweet leaf. This is a different one. Imagine if they made one you smoked and immediately start having lucid dreams. Well, they do. It's called Salvia. God, have you guys seen videos of that? I've never had it. It looks frightening. Amazon has it. I'm going to be looking up. I'm going to write this down. Dream leaf. This is a new marker I got. That'll make you dream leaf there. Woo. I'm going to write this down. Dream leaf. I'm looking this up. Thank you. See, this is why I like this show. We've got smart, creative types in here. Now, let's talk about where it gets dark. And somebody in here tonight brought up, William Nemeth. He brought up his friend was afraid to go to bed because they have sleep paralysis. That's where we're going now. Let's talk about sleep paralysis because that is the birthplace of the succubus and the incubus, the demons at night, the shadow figure that everybody, very common occurrence. They see this shadowy figure. I was talking to my friend Kylie the other night, and she herself has had lucid dreams with this shadowy figure looking at her, right? It's very easy to see how all of these things we're talking about to a primitive culture could have easily been turned into the result of some sort of supernatural thing. The funny thing is, everything I told you tonight about lucid dreaming, on how to do it, you could also take that and make a witch or a wizard or some sort of shaman can make those suggestions to somebody, and then they have a lucid dream. Guess who's now responsible for it? The warlock guy. That's real black magic right there. There you go. He just suggests it and it works. I don't know what to say. It's real. It does work. On a science level. Hey. Bada boom. Somebody just donated to the show. You got it. Somebody named 50 just donated 50. Thank you. That means a lot. So, this whole notion of the dream world being tied to the occult, well, it is. The witch doctor can say, hey, I'm going to come in your dreams tonight and help you. And that person will have the memory of it in their subconscious. And if things are in the right position, it'll actually happen. There are 10th century references to sleep paralysis. People used to write about it. Very common things happen, which is why they know it's a thing. Sleep paralysis lasts for about 20 seconds, or it can go to minutes. It can. And there's two types. One that starts at the beginning of a sleep cycle and one that starts at the end. My friend Rick Sherman tonight, he has told me himself on a few occasions he's had it happen. Both times he was laying on the couch daydreaming and dozed off, and that's where it happened. And wait till I tell you what it is. They know what it is. Yeah, I wrote down it's easy to blame the witches for this one. And maybe they did actually cause it, which is the funny part. This is the funny part about witchery and witching people, which is something I talk about a lot, is that it still works even if it's not real. I mean, real in the notion of the supernatural. I hate the word supernatural. I like the word super space natural. It's natural. It's normal. It's science. It's real. It's logic. But it's heightened because of the context. So out of, okay, now we're going to get into some fun stuff. So when you enter REM sleep of sorts, your brain sends a signal to your body. Jimmy's on the list. I'm putting you on the list. Jimmy D. Welcome to the list. Thank you, brother. It means a lot. Yes, I do have a Bitcoin fund. Bitcoin's going. So's Tesla. Their stock was 600. Wow. Anywho, back to sleep paralysis, folks, because, dude, it is terrifying. Listen, so when you go into REM, your brain sends a signal to your body, stop moving. You're going to be freaking out in your brain. We don't want your body flipping around and bugging out while you're dreaming, so you're paralyzed. And they realized that your brain has two switches. It's not one switch. There are the neurons that just turn it on and go, hey, you're out. And then there are the neurons that say, it's off, wake up. It's a very little subtle little bit that happens. So the people that have sleep paralysis, let's just say they're dreaming, they're sleeping, and their signal button to not move is on. And then all of a sudden, their brain wakes up and the button's stuck. The neurons aren't firing. And that's the paralysis. It's shocking. It's been described as someone sitting on you, like someone sitting on your chest. People hallucinate in that dream state because they're kind of awake, but they're still clearly like, oh my God, I'm awake and I can't move. And while it's going on, then they'll hallucinate. So they're awake and hallucinating. Here we go. Out of 862 people tested, they figured out 53% of them, it most likely was a genetic thing. People that had narcolepsy had it happen a lot. People that sleep on their back were more prone for it. So if you're afraid to have it, maybe don't sleep on your back. People that have depression issues, PTSD, people that are bipolar, those are all the things that definitely might trigger those buttons not working. And I believe it's because they're in the same part of the brain. There's a similarity to them all. I'm just blown away that they've figured out ways to test all this stuff now. Science is pretty cool. It's a body of knowledge that you can't fathom of how much information they've already stacked on just this stuff, which is why I love learning about it. So on top of all of this, we eat food all day. We drink coffee. We drink alcohol. Cannabis is now wildly popular. It's become normalized for medicine purposes and for recreational purposes. What does this all mean? Well, William has a lot to say about this too. He's done his own research. And during these shows, especially my evening hour show that I do, he's been chiming in a bit on what he knows. And I'm like, wow, you've done your research, because most people don't know this. So when you go to bed at night, right, and it's time to sleep, and you do your phases and you do your REM, what people don't realize is if you drink alcohol, it actually is a central nervous system depressant. Depresses your central nervous system. So when you're asleep, you're actually not asleep. You're basically like sedated. You're passed out from drinking. That's not happening. It's like it's like all stopped. So if you do that a lot, you're not going to be able to heal and restore. Here's somebody doing a sleep paralysis story. Riding in a car. Oh, wow. Kept asking to be woken up, but mouth felt clamped shut. Could hear radio and dad and brother talking. Vividly remember CCR on the radio. I've never had that happen. I can't imagine how terrifying it is. It reminds me of what it must be like some people in comas, where they can kind of wake up for a second and like, oh my God, I'm in a coma. No one knows that I'm awake. And I can see where a lot of dark and deep mythology would come out of that, because it is scary. But yeah, booze is not good for a sleep cycle. The one that's interesting is what cannabis does. So THC, the drug in cannabis, not CBD, but THC, the one that actually makes you high, it causes you to breathe better, but it actually slows down. It makes your REM cycle shorter, is what they've found. Now, it sounds like it might not be good, but for some people it is good. People that have PTSD, they kind of have an actual overactive REM, which is maybe not good too. So by shortening it with the cannabis, it kind of helps it a bit. It makes you have a better sleep. Amanda says, yeah, alcohol sleep, yeah, it's miserable. It's not a real sleep. So cannabis, also, when you smoke marijuana, there are 200 plus other chemicals, and they do help you sleep. So on the most part, a little bit of the cannabis stuff is kind of maybe really good for you to pass out a bit and to relax and to get ready for a good night's sleep. Yeah, it's kind of cool actually what that does. Where it looks like alcohol does the opposite. Now caffeine is the big one. And I'm going to have a sip of tea right now. This is the caffeine-free tea for this hour. William, you just reminded me of something that I forgot. He's right. You got to hydrate. Hydration's good for everything. It was my New Year's resolution last year was to drink more of this and not soda. Drink seltzers and just regular water because dehydration's a problem. Caffeine. So as you're doing the day, you have this chemical called adenosine. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Adenosine. Adenosine. And adenosine builds in your body, in your neurons, actually. And it has two effects. Well, there's A1 and A2, and they both are part of your sleep. So basically, that adenosine is the buildup of it's telling your body, all right, buddy, you've done enough work. You need to repair some things now and store those memory things. So you build up adenosine, and eventually it starts to come over and it makes you sleepy. It's not melatonin. It's different, actually. Melatonin also makes you sleepy. But adenosine builds throughout daily activity. When you drink caffeine, it puts a wall and the adenosine stops. It can't get over here. But here's the problem. It's getting bigger all day because you're still building this adenosine thing in the neurons. And eventually this wall stops working. And that's where you get this. The 5, 6, 7 p.m. yawn. I get it. Why? I drink coffee a lot during the day. I have 3 big cups. And that is not good. That's the problem with caffeine, is it builds up. And how many of you have caffeine headaches? If I miss that morning coffee around 3 p.m., I get the worst migraine you could ever imagine. I mean, like a knife in your skull, right? That's caffeine withdrawal. Now, here's the crazy thing. I don't know if I talked about this on my evening hour. I did. I remember talking about it. I'm going to tell it now. I met a guy in my magic shop who basically was like, hey, and I said this, when you meet people in magic shops, they are very open. They're weirdos like you. They don't meet a lot of magicians. There they are in a magic shop, and they're like, oh my gosh, another magician. So they kind of open up to you, which is cool. So I've made a lot of friends hanging out in magic shops. One of my best buddies in the world is the guy I'm working on my playing cards with, and I met him in the same fashion. He came in the magic shop, and that was it. So this guy opens up to me that one day he forgot how to walk home. Another day he started stealing and lying and cheating, and he's like, "Whoa, I'm literally turning into a nutcase, a degenerate, and I don't know why." So he went to the head doctor, and the doctors didn't know what was wrong with him. They're like, "I don't know, dude. Something's wrong with you, and we don't know." And he was like, getting, suicidal. He felt like there's no help here. I'm getting worse. And then he did his own online research, and he started finding other people that had the same thing, and he found out what it was. Caffeine poisoning. Whatever it was doing was damaging the frontal lobe. I think it's the neocortex, the evolved part of your brain. It was getting a damage to it that literally causes you to do bad things. This brings up a lot of moral questions. If you take a person, and you take a nail or a hammer and you bop him in the right spot, and then that man starts lying, cheating, stealing, and committing crime, what does that mean? I know that the man's responsible for his actions, but if brain damage can make you do these things, it's a little weird. It's definitely not the devil making you do it. It's brain damage. It's sad. And caffeine poisoning does that. It does some sort of damage to that area, which makes you do some degenerate behaviors. The other thing he said was he couldn't remember how to walk home. Now, after reading as much as I've been reading about how caffeine works, chatting with William about it, because he clearly did his research on caffeine and stuff, it's made me want to cut back on coffee. So I'm going to make a resolution now. I'm going to start only having 1 cup, maybe 2. And in the new year, I'm really going to try to wean back on it and only have it once in a while. Yeah, caffeine, William says, it does dehydrate you. I love the taste of morning coffee. The smell, the taste. Yeah, I'm a fan. So I don't want to get rid of it. I just want to limit its use. The problem with limiting the use of coffee and sodas with caffeine is when you have it, it's like doing cocaine. It's like, woo! So you got to be careful. But it's made me definitely want to change it up. Guys, any questions, fire away. This show's not going to be too long tonight. It is Black Friday. I do have some fun things I want to do later. Yeah, the taste of coffee is delicious. You have to understand how many hours the caffeine high is and the crash. Yeah. I drink coffee up until about 4 o'clock, and then I stop. I do like tea. I do like black tea, and I really like Lapsang Souchong tea. Very smoky black tea. I wonder how much caffeine is in it. I know green tea has caffeine. I'm going to do my research on the content. Now, here's the best part. I looked up once caffeine, a Coke, a Red Bull, right? I think a Coke was 35 milligrams. A Red Bull was like 80. And you get this, Starbucks regular, 250. Whoa. Like, that's so high. I do believe this. I think if you're going to have a drug that powerful in a drink, they should have to put on it how much is in there. Just like cigarette companies should have to put nicotine and tar on the package. Big. I remember when I was a kid, when I found this out, I was like, whoa! Camel Light cigarettes had more nicotine than Camel regulars. They had less tar, but they pushed the nicotine content somehow. Kind of crooked. 40 milligrams for green tea. So it's more than a can of Coke probably, but less than a Red Bull or a regular coffee. William, do you know like a Lipton tea, if it's the same, like a, because I like plain Lipton. I do. It's cheap in it, but Orange Pico, I think, is the strain. Amanda, what's up, Amanda? Taurine poisoning from energy drinks. Ooh, that sounds brutal. Taurine poisoning. Yeah, warm liquid in coffee, the smell, the anticipation probably does help you wake up too. That's one of the things I remember reading. Epicurus, the philosopher, the founder of Epicureanism, which is pleasure-seeking, but pleasure-seeking on a level that's kind of crazy and awesome. The anticipation of getting something is also pleasurable. Also, the getting it, there's another pleasure of succeeding it too. And that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, right. It's all about the brand and the beans. Well, one of my end thoughts tonight, which is I want to talk about for a while, is what does this all mean and how do we use it and why? I mean, I would love to be able to wake up in my dreams and have some fun. I mean, it just seems like I myself, and this is where I'm going to get a little into some metaphysics here. Through the years of studying what I've been studying, magic, sleight of hand, human psychology. I've done thousands of magic shows for live audiences. And in those thousands of shows I've done, I use them for my own experiment. I get to study human behavior. You know, I get to see how people react when something appears in their hand, or when something unexpected happens, or I'm able to throw some signals out and then my predictions are right. Why? Because I've been studying how people react and what people say, what people naturally go to. Because of these things, I've been able to predict the future. I've been able to look at people and guess where it's going and why. It has nothing to do with psychic ability, meaning I'm able to supernaturally get some information. It's just I'm good at putting the pieces of the puzzle together really, really quick. Whether it be through body language or just doing things thousands of times, it's turned me into a little bit of, it's a little shocking actually. And it's a little bit, I'm going to warn you, if you ever want to get good at this stuff, it really is what you would expect. You know the saying, what would it like to be a psychic for real? To know what people are thinking about you, to know what people are thinking about other things. And, you know, there's twilight zones about this. It would make you go nuts. It wouldn't be cool. And I'm going to be honest that learning the things I've learned has definitely changed me in a way that it does require a lot more responsibility on my own psyche, because I do know a lot of things going on, and a lot of times it's not cool. So I have to kind of position myself, you know, like, okay, I see right through what this is. Especially I can tell when someone's giving me a line of bull. Like, my lie detector is way good. I can tell when people are hiding information just by body. I mean, you know, it's all of it combined. Here we go. Davidson, who's a magician too. Yeah. Patterns of behavior, and behavior that I have been controlling, meaning I throw something out and then it takes hold and it works. A magician that isn't in control is going to suck. Yeah, that's the whole point of a magician. He understands how this works, and he's using that to create wonder. It is a little maddening learning these things. You do become, it's a little bit like I'm reading a lot of Seneca, and he's like, look, when you start to study philosophy, it's hard to hang out with people that don't know this stuff, because you've entered a different realm of how you're experiencing the world now. And to me, that's what this show is. That's why I'm pulling the curtain. It's behind the devil's curtain. It's what it is. It is a different way to see things, and it is not easy all the time. So by me going into the dream world and looking at how my subconscious messes and being able to play in there, I do think it's going to make it even stronger, which is, again, maybe more dangerous. It might be. Messing around with the occult as a child, I was told was dangerous because it opens up your soul to evil forces. I think what they meant to say is that it's dangerous because it opens your mind to some sensitive subject. Our animalistic instincts and brains don't always we evolved to run away from negative emotion. That's just the way it is. That's our animal cortex in our brain. That's our core brain. So by learning all of this stuff, you are learning all of it. And you have to face a negative emotion. You also, as an occultist or anybody who plays around in your subconscious, you got to be definitely not superstitious. If you're superstitious or you're really theistic in a manner and believing in some certain types of ideologies that are based on just faith alone, those ideas might spin out of control in this situation just because you're opening up your subconscious. So I do throw out a warning to people playing around with this. Look, somebody here, somebody said, who was it? William said his friend was afraid to take melatonin because it puts him in sleep paralysis. So just me mentioning the fact that lucid dreaming, a lot of you might have one tonight. So if you're going to mess around with this, know that you are going into your subconscious, and there's some dark holes there. We all have some dark stuff in there. Things and ideas that you might not want to think about. But the real occultists, we go everywhere. And we think about everything. That's what real freedom is for me, is being able to think and go to places that you might not be allowed to go to. But the people that aren't thinking it, or they're squelching those ideas, that's not healthy at all. At least for me, it's not. I want to explore all ideas and thoughts, even the bad ideas. I want to at least process what it is. A lot of the Stoics thought you should run scenarios that are horrible all the time in your brain. You know, what if so-and-so died today? What would happen if this loved one died? What would happen? How? And kind of run it, feel it, acknowledge it, and go, okay, cool. And I definitely do that kind of stuff a lot. I think it is healthy. It's like a dry run of sorts. You're getting your body and brain used to trauma. The Navy SEALs do this with torture. They torture each other so they know what it is. Yeah, dude, William just wrote it in the most concise manner. You have to experience the full spectrum of your mind to fully process things to benefit yourself. Yes! Yes! The good and the bad. I agree. You got to go in there and deal with it. And everything I'm talking about, everything, all of these ideas and thoughts, you kind of have to put as much work as I did learning how to do those crazy card tricks I do with my bare hands. It's the same. It's work. It's effort. It's work. And all of the good stuff comes from putting that effort in. The satisfaction of it. That's where you get your flooded happy chemicals. And the subject of sleep for me is one of those ones that's totally, you don't hear it discussed. You know, over at the bar or at the coffee chat or with your friends. We don't talk about sleeping. We talk about cats. We talk about pet food, the weather, politics. You know, this is what people talk. Why not talk about sleep and what it means and different ways people sleep? And I want you all to go out there and bring it up. Let's get it moving. I want more chitter chatter about it. I think we'll have a healthier planet if people really do start to focus on something they spend a third of their life doing. Think about that. If you live to be an old age of some sort, you spent about 26 years of your life out. Wow. It makes me not want to sleep. It makes me want to stay awake. I met a guy who, he was dying. And he was telling me that the craziest part about it is he didn't want to sleep. And it really choked me up. It was like, wow, I think I would be the same. I would be so excited to do everything I could or to talk to certain people that you just wake up and you're like, oh my God, I can't sleep. I want to do everything. Sleep is important. Too much sleep is not good. That does the opposite too. I think we all need 7 to 8 hours. 6 to 7, I think it was. I'm good with 6. If I sleep 6, I'm pretty good. And I myself am personally going to continue to do my reality checks. Am I dreaming right now? No, I'm good. I'm not dreaming. That was another reality check. So try it. I really want to hear what people experience. If you tried this and something cool happened, shoot me a note. Come on in here and tell us in the next one or comment on this chat once it's up permanently. These shows stay up permanently. The magic ones do not. Diet. Yeah, I didn't even talk about just straight up diet tonight. I'm sure that's a whole nother. And if anybody wants to do a little research, find out about the raising the feet bit and the blood flow. That's the one I did. I tried to do research on. I hit some walls on it, but I'm gonna continue also on that. I really want to. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything, dude. I spent about a week and a half to 2 weeks writing and doing research on this with my own books online and interviewing people that I know. And oh yeah, the Shadow Man. yeah, I think we got to this all tonight. The only thing I wanted to end on was what's coming up here. I'm going to be doing a news hour show Sunday, Wednesday, and then next Friday is Magic Method Level 2. So after I show the outro for Behind the Devil's Curtain tonight, I'm going to be showing you the trailer for that. And I will be showing some pictures of the cards. If you're new in here, please hit that subscribe button. Dude, I'm getting close. I think we're almost at 600. I'm at like 570, maybe, somewhere in there. Anybody that likes the channel and subscribes to it and tells their pals, my goodness, it really helps. It's the best thing. It's the most flattering thing you can do if you're having fun with these programs. Also, if you do donate, wow. Tonight we had somebody, wow, see, this guy here made it to the list. Ba-boom! Look at that. I love it. My list. Here's my list. I'm going to read the list now. I do this at all the shows. These are the first donors. Oh, not starting soon. Where am I? Hi, there I am. You guys are all the first donors of this channel. I literally had a YouTube channel up for like, I don't know, 6-7 years. And in 6 or 7 years, I got to about 180 subscribers just by happen chance. Within 2 months, it went up to almost 600 already because I'm doing these. So we're going to hit 1,000. The goal is to hit 1,000 by the new year. Here it is. Max Heel, Wailing Wizard, Don Slater, Alexander Ray, Ian McDonald, Sean Bonner, Arteria, Mark Muggsy, Jimmy D, Fallon, Michael DeHill, and tonight we had Jimmy D join the list. You guys rule. You're the first guys to donate. Your stuff's going in the show. Everybody else, everybody that chimes in here, chats, shares, and promotes and likes the channel, you're helping too, man. It means the world to me. So thank you very much. That's it, man. Oh, go to my Kickstarter. The very first comment here is it. I'm going to post... I'm trying to think of where else I can post a link. It might be in the description. I don't know. Well, it's easy. If you go to Kickstarter, just go look up this. I'll show you what it looks like. Bam. The Satanic Playing Cards. Right there. There's the King of Diamonds, Belial, King of Hearts, Leviathan, and Satan himself is the King of Clubs. Lucifer is the other king. Oh, guy, wait till you see what we're doing. Listen, we're about to hit. We already hit our first stretch goal. Our first stretch goal is the deck is going to come with 3 extra playing cards just for 3-card Monty. And I'm right now designing it. I'm not sure if it's going to be a regular 3-card Monty set or Color Monty for your weirdo magician friends. Color Monty is a version of 3-card Monty that has a twist ending, a surprise. And maybe we'll do both. We're working on it now. So we hit the first stretch goal. Anybody out there that shares that, my God, thank you. In one day, we doubled our number. Crazy. Thank you. So everybody, tonight, this has been Behind the Devil's Curtain, episode 4 already, The Dream Warriors. You guys have been awesome. Thank you, everybody. Jason, William, we had Kelly in here. Who else? Amanda. There's so many people in here. I'm flattered that people tune in. Yeah, Color Monty. And I'm flattered that the channel's moving along. It's great. I'm happy as a lark. Happy with my kick. I was so nervous for my Kickstarter this morning. I wish you could have seen me. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I woke up at a 7 on the button. I was like, got on. My buddy in Hong Kong was there with me live, and we were like, bam, here it goes. And it worked. Planning works. If you make a plan and stick to it, you have a better chance at making stuff happen. Folks, my name is Reverend Cardone. You have been watching Behind the Devil's Curtain, the show where sleight of hand, forbidden knowledge, and the art of real magic all come together. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to take you out with the outro credits, and then we'll watch a trailer. Bye. You guys rule. over and out.
Thank God I can do magic, everybody.
There are those that say playing cards are the devil's picture book. Well, we agree. My name is Reverend Adam Cardone, and I present to you the Satanic Playing Cards. Inspired by the most feared religion on earth, and endorsed by the Church of Satan founded by Anton Szandor LaVey in 1966. A luxurious pack of playing cards that's perfect for a game of chance or a bit of sleight of hand magic. Memento Diaboli, the Satanic Playing Cards.